Welcome to the first ever Marketecture Live, Thriving in Chaos. We've gathered the brightest minds in advertising, the most chaotic industry in existence, and we're here to decode the madness, debate the future, and if we're lucky, maybe even agree on something.
It starts with the fact that we're in this era where we have enormous challenges to everything we do, and it's not just advertising or programmatic, it's like all of media.
Realistically, everything's going to be more like a chat. Your content, my content, your internet, my internet, they're going to look totally different. And if we can't come back with a completely dynamic understanding of content and how it maps to different brands in the blink of an eye, we're not going to be able to do any kind of brand safety or suitability at scale in the future.
I think everyone has been watching over the last 18 months the changes in search behavior. And if you think about it, all of us are familiar with Google, right? And the Google search results that we get back. Well, LLM search or AI search is very different from that. So you have a 1 in 5 chance that the answer coming out of that LLM is inaccurate. So if you're a brand having an LLM write the results back about your product or service, you should be really concerned.
Because AI inherently enjoys having a lot of data, right, which we have in today's world, it's starting to make it easier for us to predict forward. In a way, we're seeing a bit of a need to reevaluate the business we're all in. I don't think that's a bad thing.
I guess what I would love to see is if you're calling something a floor, make it be a floor. And so like what floors are nowadays is essentially a bobbing lure in the ocean trying to get the DSP to bite. Buyers have a significant responsibility here. Like this ultimately ends with buyers and they vote with their wallet. Buyers need to act faster, and it's not about like publicly parading people up and making a big deal of it. It's like, do we like this? No, yes or no? Let's move on.
And one thing that we really, as we were prepping for this conversation, is it's not a versus, it's not an or, it has to be an and. Content and context, an emotional connection to the consumer, in my mind, feels like one of the most critical things that we need to do and figure out. Every single buyer is going to need to have something that fits into the rest of their media mix. If you don't, we are making their lives harder.
And so advertising should be a flow that enables you to educate yourself, entertain yourself, book something, buy something. It doesn't have to necessarily be something you have to click out to.
I just watched a 6-minute ad and I didn't even realize it.
People had no idea.
So I think this, getting back to a little bit of this creative renaissance that I've hoped is coming, feels like we're getting there, right? Like, especially with the fragmentation of media, you've got creators and influencers telling stories in new ways on behalf of your brand in new mediums. You've got new types of executions that have never been seen before. So I really, really loved that.
There are no bad decisions, just bad incentives. Cookies are the heart of the problem, right? We sold a myth to the entire industry that unless you can identify somebody, they don't exist. And unless you can identify them, an ad has no value.
We talk about this idea of media plans filled with ghosts, right? At the end of the day, it's do you really know who you're going after, who you're targeting, who you're messaging? Using AI in a way to make things faster, quicker, starting to analyze the creative, where people are watching, what they're looking at, what are the intent that you're starting to see, and using that technology to help better the way that you're engaging with those consumers.
And everyone's been calling for the death of linear television for years, and we've been processing $70 billion of linear television for 30 years now, and it continues to be $70 billion. And so when you think about sight, sound, and motion advertising, being able to create one marketplace design across linear television, national and spot and local, video, and CTV, put that all together, that's the power of what we're creating here.
All right, with that said, we're done. Let's call it a close on the first ever Marketecture Live.